All right. So we are on another one of my favorite lessons called the reset. And the reset is extremely important in many different situations, actually. We're obviously going to focus on trading. This lesson will be relevant to many other areas of life. It is more peak performance related. All right. So this lesson is more geared towards peak performance and actually like functioning at your peak, which is extremely important for trading. It's not just about technicals and lines on the charts and stuff like that. You know, a lot of times we got to be performing. Well, most of the time we have to be performing at our peak. So the reset is a very interesting concept that you pretty much kind of like integrate breaks into your days, weeks, months, quarters, and then you do a reset. So what the fuck do I mean by that? Let's look at the points here. So, quote, to move forward effectively, sometimes you need to step back and reset. To move forward effectively, sometimes you need to step back and reset. Right? So that's that concept of 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Right? Now, that concept's pretty good. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, right? So this quote is good, right? But the goal is to not step back. The goal is to take 3 steps forward and pause. And then 3 steps forward and pause. 3 steps forward, pause. That's the goal, you know? So that's a simple system. That's just implementing targets and goals within your days, weeks, months, and so on. And that will exponentially give you much better returns than thinking in terms of, again, this is kind of like a mental framework, right? But when you're thinking in terms of, hey, you know what, success needs to always be 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, then that's how it's going to be, you know? And sometimes it will be 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. If that's your mental framework, then that is how your reality will turn out, right? It doesn't have to be, right? And it's all about our belief systems and how we structure our day-to-day life, right? So a new belief system is what we want is 3 steps forward and a break. Exponential growth. Sometimes we will take steps back, but those steps back will not feel like steps back. It's a break, a pause to reset, realign, reflect. It's actually a progression step to move forward, So let's continue here. Intro trading can be mentally taxing. This lesson teaches you how to reset your mindset to maintain clarity and focus. Main points: recognize burnout, implement reset techniques, set boundaries. Okay. Conclusion: regular mental resets are essential for sustaining high performance and making sound trading decisions. Action step: schedule a regular activity that helps you unwind and reset and stick to it consistently. So let's talk about point number 1. Recognize burnout signs. Be aware of fatigue, frustration, and decreased performance. Okay. So, recognize burnout signs. To give you a tip, if you're day trading and you're taking like a trade a day, at the end of the week, you might be hitting burnout, you know? And specifically if you are still in a 9 to 5. Because day trading plus a 9 to 5, it's like 2 full-time jobs. Give a week with that without a break, you're gonna pretty much kind of hitting burnout. Maybe you'll last a month. I remember I did this during my transition period of just kind of when I went full time. This started really kind of, I was really, I started trading in 2012, June 2012. In June 2023, or 2013, sorry, in June 2013, I'd already been trading for 1 year. Nothing really to show for at that point. And I made a goal that in 1 year, I'm going to quit my fucking job and trade full time. Goal was June 2014, you know? And then everything kind of shifted. I started pretty much contributing almost my entire paycheck into my trading account, restructured our finances, mine and my girlfriend's at that point, Molly, my wife, at that point, girlfriend. And just gonna start contributing as much as possible to the trading account. But what I was kind of saying is that there was a point that kind of started in December 2014, a few months after that, or December 2013, that I really kind of like went hard day trading. December 2013, January 2014, February 2014, March 2014, or really kind of like the first week of March 2014. I went hardcore day trading with my job. And my job was not a 9 to 5, it was typically a 12-hour shift because I was doing overtime to get as much money as possible. 5 days a week, 4 days off, kind of thing. And yeah, at 2 months in, I was at fucking peak burnout because I was trying to day trade full time and really kind of like make sure my schedule is adjusted so I can day trade and I can go to work and everything else was taken out. There wasn't time for anything else, and that was like a 2-month push, 2.5-month, 3-month push. And at the end of that push, I quit my job 2 months earlier than what was planned. And part of that push was burnout, or part of that reason that I quit my job earlier was actually burnout. I'm like, I gotta quit my job right now because I'm hitting a peak here, in energy levels and so on. So there will be times like that, for sure. That can be manageable with the trading personality that you choose, right? So if you have a 9 to 5 and still working, you got to think about day trading, but maybe swing trading is probably better suited for you because you're not going to really hit that burnout. Swing trading for 9 to 5, it's much more doable, So there are signs, there are things that just will happen. But also as a full-time trader, I know that as a full-time trader, trading every single day, taking like 5 trades, 6 trades in a week, yeah, you're not going to be burnt out. But personally, even though I've outsourced almost everything out of my life so that I can just focus all my energy on this, still at the end of that week, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting tired. If my burnout, I know my burnout point. My burnout is if I keep day trading week 1 of the month, week 2 of the month, week 3 of the month, that's all good. I can go week 4 of the month, right? But now that the month finishes, and if I have not taken a solid break and I just continue into the next month, that would be week 5 now, week 6, week 7, week 8, at this point, I know that I'm going to start getting pretty foggy, pretty irritated. And I'm like, I need to get off the fucking charts because it's a lot of fucking beep, beep. Sorry for the swearing, but it's a lot of beep, beep. And you're just staring at the charts for all that time without taking a break from screen, to do a reset, break from the screens to do a reset. Yeah, I know I will personally be hitting burnout at that point, going like 5, 6, 7 weeks in, 8 weeks in without a break. So I have boundaries, but also reset techniques. So we talked about recognize burnout signs. That's kind of like mine. And I just know from experience that if I'm day trading hardcore, like peak performance day trading, and I'm talking peak performance day trading, I can go 3 weeks, I can go 4 weeks. But if I don't take a break at the end of the month and just kind of roll into the next month, yeah, okay, I'm gonna be starting to hit burnout that second month. you know. So what I do is I have reset techniques. What does that mean? I use methods like meditation, exercise, time off, you know. So thinking about daily. Every single day, I want to be when I'm on, I want to be on. So like I don't want to be on the computer doing stuff that I don't need to be doing, you know? So I want to be effective, and when I'm on, I'm on. Like I'm trading, I'm making watch lists, like I'm on, you know? And when I'm off, I don't want to be doing beep beep, scrolling web pages, fucking online shopping, whatever people do, watching YouTube videos, you know, because again, I don't need to be consistently stimulated in that way and being focusing my attention on something, you know. So when I'm off, when I don't need to be trading, I'm off. I'm off. And this is within a day, you know. So I take that time to relax, right? Have a coffee, chill out, right? um do a little workout, do a meditation. I'm a full-time trader, so I work out throughout the day multiple times, you know, just small little set of push-ups there, there's some pull-ups a little bit later, you know, just kind of like move my body throughout the day. I probably do about 3 meditations a day. I have 3 chunks within my day where I'm just kind of like chilling. You know, I can just sit down, chill, and yeah, I might just be sitting, sipping coffee or a tea, and just go into a trance and meditate for a sec. You know, 20, 30, 40 minutes, maybe longer. You know, sometimes it'll be to focus on the vision, specifically in the morning, focus on the vision, align with what I want, you know, with the self that I want to become to achieve that, right? Kind of align with that. That's in the morning. In the afternoon, if I sit down to chill, um, then that's more to just kind of like relax, clear the head, you know. And in the evening, before I go to bed, kind of thing, again, I have that point where I just kind of like sit down and reflect. And that's kind of my daily reset. Specifically at the end of the day, that reflection, that meditation at the end of the day, I do at like 10 p.m., 11 p.m., depends, you know. I'll just sit down. Um, a lot of times with a tea, I'll just sit down with a tea, turn the lights off, you know, everything is dark. I might have my computer on, probably have my computer on, but I'll just relax, you know, and reflect on the day. You know, so that's kind of like my meditation. It's just kind of like reflect on the day, go through the events, what triggered me, what was good, what was bad, what do I want to kind of like just release and let go of, so that I can start fresh tomorrow, you know, and I can actually go to bed like clear headed, you know, not taking any junk with me from the day, right? So that to me is kind of like a daily reset, you know. So I have meditation, exercise, rest, you know, kind of integrated within my day, and I kind of need that to perform on my peak. So when I say like I'm trading, and when I'm off the fucking computer and chilling, you know. But that's also important from a weekly perspective, right? So it's kind of going with point number 3, set boundaries, right? A boundary is like a target. So within a week, you can have a target, specifically if you're a day trader. If you're a monthly swing trader, then obviously you can have a monthly target. If you're day trading, you could have a weekly target. And I like to have a weekly target. Some people choose 2R per week profit. Some people choose 4R or 5R per week profit. And that's more like a push. You know, you're going for big numbers. You're going for like 4 or 5R per week. That is like almost a trade a day kind of thing, right? So there's going to be people who are going for 2 hour per week. There's going to be people who are going for 5 hour per week, right? As day traders. Now, if you have that as a target, you're like, I'm going for 2 every week. I just want to hit 2 hour every week. Cool. Okay. You hit that on a Monday, done. Be done. Log the fuck off, you know, and relax. You're done for the week, man. Great fucking week. Right? We don't have to be trading all the time. Right? Realize that 2R at 5% is 10%. If you do that every single fucking week, it is ridiculous. It's ridiculous numbers, you know? Ridiculous. You know, in a quarter, you're going to make a shit ton of money. You know, in a year, doing that every single week for a year, you're going to make a shit ton of money. You're going to do really well. If you hit 2R every week at full risk, 5%, because you got a scale there, right? But if you're doing that every single week, it is a great week. It is a great month. It is a great quarter. It is an amazing fucking year, you know? So what I mean is when you have that weekly target of 2R and you hit it on a Monday or you hit it on a Tuesday, you're done for the week. That's your boundary. You do a reset, you know? You don't have to be scanning through charts every single day, right? That's for day trading, right? Same thing if you have like a 4 or 5 hour target, right? Sometimes you will have easy weeks, right? And I talk about this a lot. Some for people who are like pushing for like 4 hour, 5 hour per week, this is important, right? Sometimes we can hit that target, not always, right? It is more on the rare side, but sometimes we can hit that target within the first 2 days, Monday, Tuesday. And that 4 hour, 5 hour is hit. We had 2 really good trades that hit full profit targets, you know, and all of a sudden, boom, targets hit on Tuesday, right? And if you don't take that time off, this is kind of what I meant by 3 steps forward, pause. This is this concept right now, right? So if you're that trader who has a 4 hour or 5 hour per week target, you know, and you hit that target in your first 2 trades of the week on a Monday and Tuesday, as an example, you hit your weekly target on Tuesday, right? This will happen. I guarantee you it will happen, right? What you have an option now, you have an option to pause 3 steps forward or 4 steps forward or 5 steps forward, whatever your profit target is. If it's 5 hour, you have the option to pause 5 steps forward. All right. So pause, because what can happen is that week can turn into an annoying fucking week. And this is what I mean by that. You have a 5 hour target and you hit it on a Tuesday. And if you're greedy and you continue trading and you take another trade on a Wednesday, that trade might be a full -1. And it probably will be because of probabilities. It's just that's how it works. It's not everything's a straight out win, you know? So we're probably gonna have a full -1, and all of a sudden now we're not at target anymore. Now we're at 3R or 4R, and we're one trade off target. And now you're like, fuck, now I gotta trade Thursday. So now you take a trade on Thursday, and that's a partial loss or break even. And now you're still off from target. Did good for the month, for the week, of course. You know, did good for the week, but now you're still off target. So you're like, okay, trade on Friday, and hopefully that trade's a winner. So you can smash right through. But if it's not another break-even trade, which could happen, or small profit, you'll be like, fuck, you know, I hit my target on Tuesday, and I could have been down for the week. But then I kept on trading. On Wednesday, took a loss. On Thursday, took a break even. On Friday, made it all back, and now I'm a target again. But I could have had those 3 days off to chill, relax, reflect, and to enjoy. To enjoy. Mainly to enjoy. If you do that, you're not going to hit burnout. If you just enjoy, have fun, you know? It's not all about work. And that's kind of what I'm saying here is those boundaries, those boundaries to me are like those weekly targets. You hit them, fucking chill the fuck out. That's like, enjoy. Be like, yes, great fucking week. Because there will be weeks where you start of the week with a -1, a break even, and you will have to take 5-6 trades in a week. And that's going to be a lot of weeks where you're going to be working from Monday to Friday, you know, every day taking shots, right? Taking good opportunities. But in order to hit that higher target of 4R, you might have to be trading Monday to Friday. There will be those weeks. So if you have a fucking week where you can be done on Tuesday, that's what I'm saying, be done on Tuesday. You know what I mean? Be done on Tuesday and relax. And that's a reset technique. You know, that's kind of like a spontaneous, performance-driven reset techniques where you can fucking enjoy and be like, yes, I did a good job. I did a really good job. That's what I mean. You pause at the top. And when you pause at the top, when you do that, when you hit target and you pause, instead of going after it because you're greedy and now you take some steps back. That's typically what happens if you don't pause. If you hit a nice high of 3R, 4R, and you keep going without a pause, without a reset, if you keep going, you will hit a streak of losses because your greedy mindset is going to get into it. And you're going to get emotional and you're going to fuck something up. And maybe not even fuck something up, but probabilities will just, it's just probabilities. You will hit some losses, you know? So it's nice to, what I like to do is, again, weekly, hit a goal, pause at the top, and then, just not even look at charts, not do anything, relax, just enjoy, go out, go into nature, take a spontaneous trip, right? And then by Monday, you'll be hungry again. And I'm mainly talking about myself. Like by Monday, I'm hungry again. I'm ready to go. I'm driven. Energy's up. I'm passionate. I want to do well. I'm not burned out anymore. That's the total opposite. So when you on week one, when you hit your target early and you take that time off, that's so positive, in my opinion, because you get to actually enjoy. And that's the purpose of this. Purpose of this is not to have a fucking trading 9 to 5 or even worse, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. People do this as traders. They quit their jobs and then spend 12, 16 hours on the charts every single day, forever kind of thing. And they wondering why their performance is shit and why they're not enjoying life. It's because you don't reset, So, and specifically reset at the top, pause at the top. So hit your target, pause. And when you pause for the remainder of the week, by the start of next week, your energy is going to be up, your mood's going to be up, and you're going to be ready to go, hungry, driven, ready to make money again. So I do this week 1, week 2, week 3 as a day trader. Week 4 as a day trader, every last week of the month, I take off. It's my boundary. That's my reset technique. Every single month. When I'm on day trading, every single month, the last week of the month, I'm off. Why is that good? It forces me to hit my monthly target within the first 3 weeks. So it's peak performance for 3 weeks. Big push, monk mode for 3 weeks, I call it. Monk level discipline for 3 weeks. And my celebration is hitting my target at the end of week 3 and having a week off to reset and realign and enjoy and have fun and get hungry again and driven, and I'll be kind of ready to go the next month. You see how powerful this process is? It is totally different if you don't take that week off at the end of the month. Then you're going to start to hit burnout at the end of week 4. And now it's new month and you got to go hit your fucking target again. And you haven't taken that reset. This is now how you hit burnout. And it's a totally different vibe. You see the vibe? See how different it is? One, you have those pauses, those reset moments at the end of the day, at the end of the week, if you're going to hit it early, and definitely at the end of the month, if you're hardcore day trading, proper sprints, proper monk mode, right? At the end of the month, take a reset. It will totally realign you. It's a celebration for good job done, right? And if it wasn't a good job done, you need that fucking reset anyway to figure out what the fuck was wrong. If you didn't hit target and you totally fucked the month up, you need that pause. Don't continue. It's also the same thing. If you're hitting a low, pause. Don't continue. Do a reset. It's the same shit. Because if you don't pause, if you're hitting a low, if you don't pause, if you don't do a reset, you're going to continue going. And all of a sudden, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Why am I down so much? This reset concept is important from both sides. Extremely important from both sides. Extremely important for the upside. Most people's performance would have been much better if they implement the reset concept even when they're doing well. Especially when they're doing well. That's what I mean. Weekly goal hit, take the week off. Monthly, every single month, the last week of the month, off. Every quarter, the last 2 weeks of the quarter, off. You know what I mean? As an example, right? So as a swing trader, I would always kind of like take the last 2 weeks of the quarter off. The swing trader, I may not need to take, the last week off. I don't really need to take like days off throughout the week because swing trading is much more chill than day trading, you know? But at the end of the quarter, yeah, man, I take 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, you know? Relax, reset, reflect on the quarter, you know? And then I'm hungry when the quarter's done and I took those 2 weeks off and a new quarter starts. I'm hungry. I'm ready to go. I'm at peak in inspiration and motivation and drive and passion and hunger, you know? And when you don't take those pauses, those reset moments, that is totally gone. You're like drained of energy. You don't have much. And now you're like going into the new month on fumes. Whatever energy's left. And if it wasn't a good month, I guarantee you there's not much energy, there's not much mojo, there's not much juice, there's not much passion, there's not much drive, there's not much hunger. But there would be if you take a break, a reset point, you know? So that's kind of it for this lesson. I really kind of just wanted to talk about that it's really important to do a reset, right? Now, I'm going to do one more kind of mental framework on this lesson, just one more. It's related to this. Implement reset techniques. And it's mainly when things are going off, right? So when things are going off, maybe you've been trading for a little bit. You're going to hit this. You might hit these points. A lot of traders do. This is like extremely important. So imagine like you've been doing this for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, or 2 years or 3 years or whatever. You're doing it. You're doing it for an extended period of time. And when you started your sprint, like new year, right? You got your trading plan, you got your base plan. You like, I just need to hit this every single day, every single week, every single month. I need to be this disciplined. Just follow the plan for a year. I'm going to hit my goal, And then you hit it January and you hit it February and maybe it's going good. And March, you don't take a reset and you start to hit burnout. And April, I start to see this almost every single year. March, April, mojo's gone. It's fucking gone. Almost every single, not almost, every single year. I see this in the trading community in real life and any industry, really, every single year. It starts like that. You have a plan at the start of the year. It's a good plan. It's a solid plan. Solid. But you don't do a reset. So you get burnt the fuck out. And then you lose your mojo. You lose your drive. You lose your motivation, typically by March. And March, April, you hit a low. I see this all the time. So that's why this reset's so important. So important. But what I want to also mention is reset to base. You want to do this every single day, every single week, every single month. You want to reset to base. That base plan. Base plan. And what do I mean by base? Reset to base. Write this down. Reset to base. Okay? Base trading plan. Solid, clean trading plan. Because we might be going for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 13 months, 2 years, 3 years, and we realize, fuck, man, I've added this, I've added this, I've added this unnecessary rule, I've added this unnecessary mental rule. A lot of times they're not even written down on paper. They're just like mental rules that we just accumulate and we just add, and all of a sudden it's not a base plan anymore. It's just like total weird jungle of weird rules that you just kind of created, So when I say about a reset, it's like actually like, yes, it's a mental reset. It's mainly a mental reset, and it's mainly to enjoy and have fun. But when things are not going off, not going the way that you want it to, it's important to do that reset and to look at your trading plan, and you're doing a reset to base. What is the base? Because you probably implemented a lot of crap that doesn't need to be there. Or you're not doing a lot of shit that you need to be doing. Sometimes that happens too. We have good habits, and as we're going, sometimes we're like, okay, You stop focusing on some good stuff because you're like, I might be doing good. And you're like, I'm a goat. So you stop doing that. So you stop doing that. And that's typically also something that happens. People stop doing this shit that they need to be doing from a peak performance perspective. They stop doing the stuff, you know? And then they're wondering why their performance went to shit. Reset to base. Base trading plan, base routine. Sometimes we've drifted off of our daily routine. What is the base optimal routine to perform at your peak with this trading plan? What is the base routine? Reset to base routine. What is the base mindset that I need to have? Well, I need to be clear, motivated, focus on vision, driven. I cannot be in doubt. I cannot be in fear, and I cannot have uncertainty. I need clarity, confidence. I need to be committed. I need to be passionate. You know, I need to know my goals, my targets. So you need to realign back to base. Base trading plan, base mindset, base environment. Sometimes you notice, okay, my environment was optimal. It was base. You know, it was optimal. You know, but somebody came into your environment, or something came into your environment, or your environment changed totally because of life. Life happens. The environment changes, you know? And we might have to do a reset back to base, right? Base trading plan, base mindset, base environment. You get the concept, right? Sometimes we drift away. A lot of times we drift away as time goes on, we drift and we stop doing some stuff, or we start doing some stuff that we shouldn't be doing. Both will happen. Sometimes we won't be doing the meditations. We won't have our resets. We will stop doing resets. We will stop meditating. We will stop writing down our goals, you know, and then performance will go to shit. We'll stop following the plan. We'll start being lazy and loose. You know, we got to do a reset. And that's why a lot of times it's best not to wait for those moments, because a lot of people don't do a reset and then the moment will just happen. And all of a sudden they're like, how am I down 30%? It's a lot. It happens. People will realize, what the fuck? That's because you don't have a daily reset, you don't have a weekly reset, you don't have a monthly reset, you don't have a quarterly reset. So shit just goes. And you burn off all your energy and you're drained and you add some rules, you stop doing the shit, and you're like, what the fuck? So, do a reset, please. All right? Every day, every week, every month. Do a reset. Enjoy. Have fun. All right? That's it for this lesson. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.